Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Brandon, your trusted realtor, and I'm coming to you with another amazing episode. First and foremost, I want to say happy holiday season to each and every one of you. I know it's been a while since I've come to you with a little bit of content, but I'll give you my main reason. And you know what I feel about reasons? Reasons are really excuses, but what I've been inundated in a good way with all of the individuals who have been either found me on social media or on YouTube, and they've said, hey, I was just curious, will you help me find a house? I've been doing home buyer seminars. I partnered with an amazing lender, and we have been talking to people not just about the process of buying a home, but we have been talking to them really what him and I are both focused on, which is helping individuals understand the home buying process so that way they can use and leverage the home buying process to build wealth for themselves and to build generational wealth for themselves. And so we truly have been having anywhere from 5, and I am thankful for 5 people who get on a seminar to talk about home or to listen to home ownership for an hour. And we've had upwards to 50 plus people who have participated in these seminars. And as people are participating in these seminars, they're realizing like, hey, I can actually do this. I can make this happen. This is something that is well within my wheelhouse to do, because as I've always said, and you've probably heard me say on this channel if you watch any of my other videos, is that there's a pathway to home ownership for each and every one of you. So it's just a matter of accessing that and working and partnering with the right people. So that is why you haven't gotten videos or articles, because truly managing the host of individuals with the amount of work and content and really truly hand holding, because that's what I consider. I want to guide you through this process. I want it to be seamless. So I've been focusing on that immensely, and I think that it's been paying off dividends because people are getting into houses and they're realizing, even in situations where they don't necessarily have money available, they've been getting into houses and leveraging these down payment and assistance and closing cost assistance programs, and it's just made the world. So it's really, really been making me happy to see the expression on people's faces when they close and they realize that they did it. Okay, so but today what I want to do is I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the closing process. What does it look like and the time frame to own a property? If I want to buy a house and you know that your lease is up, let's say in May, but you don't want to renew. You know you want to go through the process of buying a home, but you don't know what you need to do. I always say there's 2 types of people. There's 2 people, the group A, which is people who are ready to buy a home, and then you have group B, which are people who are not ready and they need preparation. Group B includes individuals that have some type of credit challenge or some other challenge that they are overcoming. I don't really consider not having money a challenge, or at least not a significant challenge. You definitely have to have some money. And when I say no money, I mean not having $15,000 or $20,000 in the bank. You know, you should have a few $1,000s available in order to negotiate and navigate the transaction, because you are going to need that as part of the upfront money. So usually when I think about group B, I think about people who have issues or challenges with their credit, and they need some guidance or navigation and trying to figure out what their plan of attack is going to be. What things do they need to pay? And so I work with lenders who have credit simulators, and that group of individuals are usually going to take about 6 months. 6 months is about the time frame that you are going to see or need in order to see moves in your credit. Now, each individual is going to be different, and based on the level of credit repair that an individual needs, that's going to impact you. So it's going to be within that 6 months, you're going to have to be both consistent and in making sure that you adhere to the plans and that we put together for you. And then the other piece of that is the level and the magnitude of things. So in reality, if we are dealing with, and even in these seminars that I'm dealing with, some of these folks have been around for the last year and a half, and they've been in group B. And so they started with credit scores that were in the 400s or that were in the 500s. A plan was put together for them. They adhere to the plan, and for them it's taking them at anywhere from 12 to 16 months for us to be able to get them into a place where they're now at the minimum credit score requirement of 640 in order to access programs, down payment assistance programs like the Maryland Mortgage Program. And they're now in a place where they have a 640 credit score, where they're the most competitive, or at least minimally competitive, to be able to get not only down payment assistance, but to take advantage of these historically low historically low interest rates. Now, I want to talk to individuals that are in Group A now. Group A are people who are just ready to go. They're just like, pull the Band-Aid off. I'm ready to get the pre-approval. I'm ready to get started. I move and I want to be out of this place in the next 90 days. So I want to be out of this place in the next 6 months or before, whenever your lease ends. And you're in Group A, and so you're ready. Now, the first thing that is the biggest piece and the biggest hurdle that I find for many buyers to overcome is understanding the relationship between the amount of money that they have available and what they actually can afford and what that translates into materially, right? You know what I mean? So essentially you've probably heard the adage of having champagne taste but beer money. That is a real thing in real estate, and that translates, not disrespectfully, but it translates because everything that you see inside of a home has a price tag on it, from nice floors, nice aesthetics, nice countertops, nice high-end, the type of appliances that are in the home, the type of heating and cooling system that's in the home, the type of paint that was used. All of that has a value to it. And that value is reflected in the cost associated with it. So when you see certain things as a buyer, the first and most important thing I find with buyers is when you're working within a set budget, it's important to come to the realization of what are your 3 most important things. I think it's vastly important that you have a wish list. Create a wish list of those things that are ideal that you want in a home, but also be willing and able to be understanding and make what I say are concessions. And only you as the buyer will be willing to make those concessions and say, based on making these concessions, I'm going to be happy with this type of house. I made a post on my Instagram, if you guys follow me at B Scott Realtor, shameless plug, but there on my story, I talked a little bit about different loan types. And one of the things I mentioned is that based on the loan type, and even based on the property type, let's say if you're in a townhouse, well, a townhouse that has a condo association fee, that condo association fee, let's say it's $250 or $200, that has to be added into your monthly mortgage payment. So if the maximum that you're qualified for is $300,000 and we find you a condo that meets all of your needs, and that condo itself, by itself, that townhouse condo is $300,000, you won't qualify for it because you're at the max of your budget, because we have to now factor in that $250 condo fee. That means we really aren't looking for properties that are at the max of your budget, which is 200 or 300,000. We're really looking at homes that are closer to between 225,000 and 270,000, because I have to have about $30,000 available in order to account for that association fee. Well, you say, well, why do you need $30,000, or why do you have to account for the association fee? Well, because that association fee will be included as part of your mortgage payment, you have to account for that payment being made each and every month. And so your mortgage payment increases by $50 for every $10,000, right? So every $10,000, do the math, you're going to need about $40,000 in order to be able to cover a $200,000 condo association fee. Many people don't realize that when they start the process. That's why having someone you trust to help you navigate the process, or even just watching my videos before you randomly in some other part of the country dial up a real estate agent, is going to be immensely important. So that time frame is up to you, but normally I like to level set with my clients in the first 5 to 7 days. Most importantly, it's important for me to listen to what it is that you want and then do my earnest to try to find a property that meets all of those criteria. If we're able to find a property that meets all of those criteria, there's no real reason for us to talk about concessions. But I guarantee you, in about 95% of instances in working with buyers, there has to be some level of concessions that are made on the part of a buyer. So that's up to you, and I usually find that takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days. So we're already in 7 to 10 days for the Group A people. Now you have the pre-approval. The pre-approval usually comes first. It's either first or second with regard to understanding. But because you are listening to this video, you get to do a little bit of prep work, a little bit of homework. You not only get to look at properties that are available using my website, bscottrealtydmv.com, but you can look at my website and use that as a resource to see what properties are actively on the market, and then kind of discern or determine what it is that you like about a home or a property. And then when you're ready to move forward, you do that pre-approval letter. I tell people that pre-approval letters are electronic and you can do them really quickly. I'm a firm advocate of finding a regional lender. Regional lenders are going to specialize in just that, mortgage programs. You can use anyone you want to, but a regional lender is also going to have relationships and they're going to have built a name. Remember, in the real estate industry, just like anything else, relationships matter. I don't personally let anyone cut this beautiful swath of hair that I have. I only trust myself to do that. Most times I trust myself to do that. And that's because relationships, and I say that in jest, but think about that same analogy to yourself. Do you just go to anyone to do your hair? Do you go to anyone just to cut your hair? That's the same thing. Relationships matter. When you decide to buy something on Amazon, are you reading the reviews? Are you seeing the relationship and the interaction and that people have had with that particular product? Yes. So that's the same situation here. Having a mortgage lender that is locally in the region means that they're going to understand the local real estate market. Many individuals don't realize that real estate is a local commodity. So when we're talking real estate agent to real estate agent, and I'll give you an example. In my most recent transaction in St. Mary's County, Maryland, my client was successful in the transaction, and the listing agent literally told me, "Oh, we had two other offers, and they are from big banks. One United States bank, and then another with the bank that is named after a military branch." So they were like, "Oh yeah, they're using those two loans." And I talked to my client about the power of local agents. And in that particular transaction, we were using First Home Mortgage. And the agent goes, "Oh yeah, I know First Home Mortgage. Which office are you using?" Da 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 da, and began to talk to me about the specific offices and her relationship. She was like, "I know they close fast. They have a good reputation." My client's a first-time home buyer. She won the transaction. We will be able to close when they need to close. We can contact the person on the weekend. I was able to talk to them up to 8 o'clock last night about this particular loan and to get a pre-approval letter sent to me that same night so that we could get ratified. I didn't finish negotiating that offer yesterday until about 10:30 p.m. But that's the power of having a local lender that they offer. So I can't tell you what to do. But anyways, so getting a pre-approval letter is going to take you from 2 to 7 days in my experience. As long as you have the documents that your lender is asking you for, it's going to be a straightforward process. Now, one other thing to note about that pre-approval letter is the pre-approval letter does not has an expiration of 120 days after it's issued. So you basically have 4 months that are available to you. So that's kind of an indicator that individuals in Group A, it's estimated on average that it's going to take you about 120 days. Boom, you have your answer. Hopefully you won't stop listening, but you have your answer. It's going to take about 120 days to go through the process for most individuals. Is it faster, and can it be faster? Absolutely. And what I'm talking to you about is kind of the real-time scenarios that I have found when I am working with individuals that it takes. Now, the search. Now, when it comes to searching for a property, for me, it begins immediately. As soon as we have 24 hours after I have an email notification about your pre-approval, or even if I have just the inkling about what you could potentially be pre-approved for, and we've had that discussion, I'm sending you over properties in that geographic region that you like, and based on what you have indicated to me your price point is. And then we refine that. So within about 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get a list of property from me. And then from that initial set of properties, you're going to be able to like, trash properties, make comments. And then after you get that list, we're on another phone call, and then we're going out and setting up a time within 24 to 72 hours from there. So within the 3 days. So that first week that you have your pre-approval letter, we are meeting in that 7-day period. So that way we can go out and look at the properties that you've identified that you like. If you haven't liked any properties, or if you haven't made any selections, that's also an indication that maybe you're not as serious about the transaction. So that is something that you have to talk to yourself about. Now, that whole process, now once we move from there, we go into the process of viewing, and that will take anywhere, again, from 7 days to 30 days, the entire process of searching. And a lot of times that has to do with getting comfortable with the transaction. Individuals typically aren't going to say yes to the very first property that they see. That has happened to me before, and I was very excited about it because I saved a little bit of gas, but whatever. It was just exciting. Does it happen all the time? Absolutely not. I have clients now who say, "I will not make an offer before this date," which again, personal decision. You make a decision, you're the buyer, you have to live there. And I'm here to help facilitate and consult you into what's going to be the best decision for you to build wealth for yourself. So that process of looking for a property and getting email lists is going to take 7 to 30 days. Now, once we find your property, you are going to be ratified. Ratified means that the buyer over here and the seller over here have come together and they say, yes, we agree that we are going to work together and I want to sell your house. I want to sell my house to you and I want to buy my house. I want to buy your house. And so once that happens, you're looking from anywhere from 30 to 45 days. In that 30 to 45 days, there's a lot that's going to happen and there are a lot of people that's going to be involved in the transaction. First of all, you're going to have that first 3 to 6 day period where you have to provide the earnest money deposit. The earnest money deposit is that good faith money. We've talked about that before in other videos, and you're going to send that to the title company either electronically or via a check. Then, after that, you have the home inspection. Usually the day you have a ratified contract, the same day those two people agreed, that's when you get a notification from me. I can't speak for other agents. I can only tell you about me, and this is my people's time frame. That's why we move quick. Within that same day, you get a ratified contract, you get a congratulatory email, and then you receive a list of home inspectors that you choose from. We get the home inspection set up. Now, the home inspection is 4 to 10 days. Now, I normally go with about 5 days. I feel 5 days is enough time, for us to figure out to do a home inspection. The home inspection companies I work with get me or my clients the reports back that same day. The reports are electronic. It gives us a day or two to talk about the results. I'm at the home inspection, so I've seen everything and I've done so many of these. I've already internalized them. And then by the end of the home inspection that day, I've already pretty much internally laid out a plan and I've communicated that to you in the course of the home inspection. So you have a level of comfort when you leave. And then when we reconvene about the discussion of things that you want to have checked off, that's a confirmation. I like for you to sleep on it, and then we move forward. So the home inspection is 4 to 10 days. Now, the appraisal is managed by the lender, and the lender will typically order that after the home inspection. See why I like to go ahead and get the home inspection done pretty quickly. And then the appraisal is 21 days. That is my time frame that I put in. Most real estate agents I can't even speak for most real estate agents. I don't know most real estate agents. I've noticed a lot of real estate agents use 21 days or 20 days because on average, that's about the time frame it's going to take for a lender to coordinate with an appraisal. An appraiser is a separate individual and a separate company. So it's a lottery system. They got to pick somebody from a different company. They then coordinate with them based on their workload to come out and appraise your property. Then the financing is 21 days. Financing is going on in parallel to, yes, I know my hands are ashy. It's fine. They're clean. Financing is going on in parallel to the appraisal process. The lender is looking at everything. And one of the things I can tell you about financing when it comes to the home buying process is there is nothing you are hiding. Nothing at all. And the underwriter will find it. The underwriter is like the CIA, the child support, the FBI, the Real Housewives franchise of investigations. They will find out what they need to find out about you and your monies. Don't lie. Don't misrepresent yourself. Don't think that you can hide something. Don't think that you can take some money from here and put it there. The most valuable tool you have is professionals that can guide you through this transaction and make sure you do it seamlessly and not have a whole bunch of hiccups, i.e. financial or tax issues, or that you just don't get the home altogether because you weren't playing by the rules. I guarantee you, underwriter will find everything. I'm in a transaction right now. We don't close until we don't close for another 7 days. But I found out 15 days ago, the underwriter sent me an email and was like, XYZ person opened up a new line of credit. So we had to reshape the entire loan, and that delayed the closing. And I was like, this was the day before Thanksgiving. And so I found myself like having to send like not so happy, but like, I don't like not nasty, but like a directive email to say no new lines of credit. Like none. Don't do anything. Don't think about opening anything. Like don't like nothing. And when you're buying a house, you can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. 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 You can't do anything at all. I promise you. If you go through this 30 or 45 day period and you just leave things along, first of all, it takes 30 days to establish a process, right? So think about this as one of your biggest and most expensive lessons in discipline. Because that's what you're going to need for the next 30 years to make sure you're paying your mortgage on time, to make sure you're doing that routine household maintenance, to make sure that when you are, and then you do have money, that you're spending it appropriately and wisely with regard to the property. I know we're going on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's really important to hammer this home because I want you to be successful. Anyone with a real estate license can help you buy a house. I am interested in helping you build wealth and doing that with the least amount of money out of your pocket as possible. So that whole process of financing works in parallel, and it takes 21 days. And then you close. You literally close within 30 to 45 days. And the reason I add that additional 15 days from the standard 45 days is because sometimes if you're, depending on the seasonality, if you're using a down payment assistance program, it can take an additional 15 days for the locality or the county or the city to process or to re-underwrite or verify that a lender has properly underwritten the loan so that that way they can approve the funding. And a lot of times, because of the volume of people that are using those programs during popular periods like fall and spring and summer, they are inundated with applications. And so they need that additional time to review them. So if you're using a down payment assistance program, that's one of the things we have to take into consideration. Now, altogether, Brandon, you say that doesn't add up to 120 days. You're right. We're looking at a total of about 64 days in the totality of the process when we are working together from start to finish. Now, one of the things for you to also take into consideration is post-closing. Post-closing, that first month after you close on your home, you don't pay a mortgage payment. That first 30 days, there's no mortgage payment due. So if you close on a home in January, you don't make a mortgage payment in February. Your first mortgage payment is due in March. So let's say you're moving in May. Now is the time that you want to begin looking for properties. You want to have already gotten pre-approved. You want to already go through the process of searching for a home. And guess what? Let's say you need a little bit more time. That's what we call negotiation. All right, so we have been here about 20 plus minutes. I want to thank you guys for taking your time to be a part of this discussion and to realize that there's so much value and to realize that you are worthy of your highest and best self and most importantly of building generational wealth through real estate. My name is Brandon. I'm your trusted realtor. I look forward to being your source and resource for all of your real estate needs. Take care and I'll talk to you soon.